Welcome to the Chico Creates podcast, where we interview local artists, musicians, and makers here in Chico, California. I'm your host, Kira Barsotti, and this is a recording from our live show at the Chico Women's Club on September 12th, 2024. Enjoy!
Hi, Sienna.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for having me tonight.
Of course.
Yeah.
So Sienna Orlando-Lalaguna, is that how you say your name?
Yes.
Great. She is the sole owner and maker behind Sienna Ceramics, which makes field-to-table pottery based on the seasons for your kitchen, rituals, and feasts. With a 25-year background working in clay, she completed a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from Chico State in 2008 and founded the Witches Market here in Chico in 2021, which will hold its 4th annual event this October.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Been ramping up for that.
Yes. Now I understand a little bit of what goes into event planning.
The organizing, and that's why I
Yes.
do one market a year. I give my energy to that, and that's perfect for me.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate all the organizers out there because, wow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot more than you would think, right?
Yeah.
There's so many little pieces, like tiny little things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like doing the same market, same time of year, similar format, it really helps. I can build off of it,
Yeah.
year after year. So,
Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself beyond the bio.
yeah, so I know the 25-year thing, I was just sitting there going, yeah, it's like I kind of rounded out that number, and I was like, no, I actually took my first ceramics class in fall of 1999 at Butte College. So it's been exactly 25 years since I started this, beginning ceramics, and then I was just absolutely in love. That was my first semester in college, and it was just the thing for me. I had taken art in high school, and I really didn't have the affinity for drawing and painting so much, or I wasn't as good as I thought I should be at that point. So I'm like, okay, I love being creative, but I'm not going to be an artist. And then working in 3D was just a game changer for me.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So, how long have you lived in Chico?
I moved to Chico that next semester, so Y2K.
Okay, yes.
So I was commuting up to Butte. I grew up in Yuba City.
Okay.
So not far. I've pretty
you
much...
and Bree. Bree's here, Yuba City.
Yep, my friend. I really wanted to change after high school, and so I signed up for Butte College, went there, and loved it, and then got an apartment, moved into Pine Tree Apartments in Chico in
Yep.
the spring of 2000, and lived here for 20 plus years, basically.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and now you've got like a little farm and stuff going on, it sounds like.
So yeah, we're outside of Chico now. We're in the country, but Chico is still, you know,
Yeah.
the community. My husband works. He's a teacher here, so he commutes, and it's still our community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where I built my grown-up life here.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then that's what's keeping you here is just the community and the people and...
Yeah, I mean, I really love the Sacramento Valley. I'm a farm girl. I grew up outside of Yuba City, really. My parents have orchards, and grew up in the country, and I've never lived outside of Northern California. I did one summer outside of the Sacramento Valley. I really, really love the Sacramento Valley. That just really feels like home. I have a real sense of belonging here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that keep you in Chico.
Yes.
I mean, the art community, everyone says the art community, yeah, it's legit. It's been strong for decades. There's a lot happening here in all the different aspects. I mean, tonight we got 4 totally different artists being totally different kind of makers.
Yeah, I know. There's so much going on.
Yeah. And they're all got their fingers in like a million different little things. I mean, I love this community. The arts and cultures, what drew me here, of course, the natural aspect. It's kept me here.
Yeah.
Yeah, paired with the agriculture.
Right.
It's nice to be close to the mountains, too, for that kind of biodiversity, all the watersheds, and the agricultural land, which I'm really drawn to.
Yeah.
Good soil.
Yes. Oh, my gosh, yes. Especially, compared to Paradise soil is, Paradise, not great.
Oh,
but
no. You got like 40 feet of vinyl loam here. I mean, you can't even get to the bottom of the loam in the valley.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had some work done in our yard, and the landscapers just kept saying, "Oh, you got such great soil," and I felt bad putting rocks over it. I was like, "Oh no, should I plant a farm?"
It's okay. It's still there.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, and he was like, "If you ever want to, plant something, just move the rocks." And then, you got great soil. So
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite local spot or place to hang out?
So I've thought about this, and like my perfect morning, or my perfect morning, afternoon, day. I'm not really a night person. Saturday farmers market. I mean, that was my happy place for 2 decades. And then I would go to lunch at Grana. And then I would go to Bootleg and go vintage shopping.
Yes.
But also, so we just went to the Chico Honky Tonk on Saturday. And that is like my new favorite place.
Favorite thing. Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It hit all the buttons. It was awesome.
Yeah. And that's at the Goose, right?
Yeah. It was a really good time. I think it's the first Saturday every month.
Yeah. I want to make it over there one of those times because, it looks so fun.
Yeah. You do it.
Yeah.
It's great. Go for the line dancing lessons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love line dancing. I'm not good at it, but I love it.
You will be.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about how you fell into ceramics. Kind of what led you? Well, so what were you going to school for originally? And it sounds like you maybe took that class on a whim, and then just decided you fell into it. It sounds like.
Yeah, I was drawn to it. I did take general art in high school, and I had a friend who took the ceramics in high school. It wasn't a big program or anything. And I thought, oh wow, that sounds great. Especially potter's wheel. The wheel is very attractive.
Yes.
Everybody sees, I want to do that, and then you get on it, and you're like, oh shit, that's way harder than I thought it was going to be. It's like learning a new instrument.
They make it look easy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. You have to get over the hump of learning, and then you can hit your stride. So, but I was able to do that at Butte College, and still. The potter's wheel is my main instrument. I do a lot of hand building too, but more than half of my work is started at least on the wheel. And even when I was doing more sculptural work, it was mostly coming off the potter's wheel first, and then
interesting.
Altered. Yeah. But yeah, I always was a creative person. My first craft was probably sewing. Actually, my mother tells me, I don't remember this at all. I must have been really tiny. She tells me I had this drawer of junk, and I would pull it out, and I would glue all the things to paper. So again, this 3D assemblage kind of mentality, where I could never really break through with my drawing, but always very drawn to 3D. Sewing. I got into gardening really young, so I've been gardening. I've kept my own garden for about 30 years since I was a kid. My parents gave me this little plot, and I started growing food plants and flowers, and I've just kept a garden ever since, which it seems kind of like a sidebar, but it's so integral to my work.
Yes,
that it's really part of it. They're I think of it as if gardening is a tree, like pottery, or pottery is the tree, gardening would be the vine twisting around it and giving it
Right.
A relationship.
Yeah.
Or almost like mycelium and wood chips. Like the garden and all the plants that I'm tending to and that I relate to and that I'm around each day really inspire me and give me that fuel for all of those ideas, that mycelium of ideas and concept and inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's very evident in your work too. There's your collections always seem like they're around plants.
Yes.
You know. Yes.
And I'm always around plants.
Yeah, right.
And now my studio is in the middle of my gardens.
It's amazing.
Which is really important. So I'm integrated. I'm going literally walking out the studio to the gardens and to all the plants all day long. And I don't go a day without being in my gardens. So it's all right there. And I do a lot of things. I'm kind of an obsessive maker, and I'm a really like classic Aries. I want to do everything, so I have a lot of things. I think overall, I prefer craftswoman. I'm definitely an artist, but craftswoman I think makes more sense for me because, then I'll be using natural materials, and I'll be weaving and then working on learning some basketry, and then I'm doing rug braiding, and then I'm doing wreath making, and they all sort of intertwine. My latest obsession is broom making, so now I'm working on learning broom making, and that all started with seeds. Someone gave me a jar of seeds last fall. A friend gifted them to me. And so I started growing the broom corn in the spring. And then once I'm like, okay, well, I should learn how to make a broom. Took one workshop over the summer before the broom corn was ready. Now it's ready, and I'm cleaning it and experience. Yeah, they're all small because even a patch of broom corn, 12 by 12 patch of broom corn doesn't produce that much, right? It takes quite a bit. But it's still going. I'm continually still harvesting some, so I have a little more. It's really pretty. It's all these different colors, and some of them are streaked with red, and some are kind of black, and some of them are beige, and
that's cool.
Yeah. So
that's definitely I'm starting to get into gardening a little bit, and it's amazing how much work goes into produce what feels like so little sometimes. It really gives you an appreciation for how insane grocery stores are.
Yeah, I mean, they're working at a different level.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a lot of losses, and it takes a lot of work to grow a smaller, more intense style of gardening where you're, rotating beds, or I'm always cover cropping and then composting and planting throughout the year. I just did a little round of planting, and I'll do another one in October. And we got me started on plants, and now I could go on
talk about plants
for
forever.
Forever, really. But yeah, it can take a lot of work of just tending, and then I have a lot of critters at my house, and so we have deer. There's raccoons who will come and clean off a whole fruit tree within 2 nights. Yeah. And so kind of working with the natural fauna, and they get some, I get some, and doing all that. You could do all the work and then it'll just be cleaned off in a night. Okay.
Yeah.
But also diversifying helps. So just plant more.
Yeah. Always plant more. You can never too many plants.
Plant more.
So how did your current business get started and everything?
So I did sell, I did a little bit of selling at Butte College, they have their pottery sales, and that helps kind of give you an idea. And I have a great mentor, or I call her my art mama, really, is Catherine Huden. She taught at Butte College for 40 years almost, and we just got along right off the bat. We became friends, and she became my mentor, and she sold pottery for decades too. She taught, but they also did shows. So they did all kinds of shows. and her husband had a home studio, and so she taught me the ropes in a lot of ways, and I could always call her. When I did my first like solo exhibition at the BMU at Chico State, I called her up and I'd be like, all right, how do you do sales?
Yeah.
Right? And she broke it down for me, and I had someone help her with sales that night. I had really good sales. It was awesome. And that's been really great to have somebody who can help you along.
Yeah.
And then after school, I mean, I graduated in 2008 when the economy crashed, so it was like a little tricky of a time to graduate with an art degree, and work was a little hard to find, and so I ended up taking a day job that I was in for 10 years, and it eventually evolved to, like, I was in marketing. When the time the 10 years was up, I was actually in marketing, and I was running my business too. I did way too much. So I had the job, I had 2 babies, and I also started my pottery business.
Yeah.
And was doing it all and was getting really burnt out. When my youngest turned 2, I was able to quit my day job. That was in 2019. And it's been good. It's
Ever
worked.
since,
I was able to kind of
yeah.
translate some of my marketing skills and strategies. So I do a little bit of wholesale. I do some markets. I sell mostly online. So being able to take photos and make listings and shipping, is all really big,
well, especially
and
with
important.
pottery.
Yeah, you have to get
Like
that
the
right.
logistics of it.
Yeah,
It's a whole other thing. Yeah.
I used to have more broken pieces, and now, knock on wood, like I haven't had a broken piece in a long time. I've gotten pretty good at shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just really balancing out my different sales paths, right? The marketing term.
Yeah.
And I have a whole, strategy for that. But it's been crazy. When I quit my day job in fall of 2019, it was cool. I started renting a warehouse space over on Fair Street. It was about 900 square feet. And it was kind of rough, but my husband helped fix it up, and I was able to kind of rent out a little space there. And that became a really good incubator for going full-time with my business. And originally it was like, we'll have one little open house every month, invite some makers, do some workshops, and was doing that until 2020. Obviously, this always comes up in somebody's story, right?
Yep.
And then it just was mostly just me in there working and really diverting my sales to online, which was okay. And it was really nice at that time to have a space that was outside of the home. I do have 2 small children, and they were both home, and then my husband was working from home, and it was a lot. And my studio at our house was tiny. It was just a little tiny bedroom downstairs, and I couldn't expand. So having that warehouse space for those couple of years was really, really nice. And towards the end of 2021, we opened it up and decided to do another event, and that was the first Witches Market, which I invited just Sammy's and Grilly from Turkey Tail Farm and Katie Orchid from Moon Medicinals, and it was the 3 of us, and I was just inspired by them and their work, and it turned out great. It was a great kind of reopening to that space, and then when we moved, I rolled it all into one. There was a metal building at our new place. It's like a 2-car garage, basically. That is my new studio, which is awesome because then it's all tied in with my gardens and home, and I can work there after the kids are home from school, so they can still be around, and I'm not in another place, a mile away or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a good journey, and it's cool. My old studio is called Strega Studios. I know some people got to visit there, which was cool. And now it's still an art space, like Pedal Press took it over.
Oh, awesome.
So that's
okay, yeah.
that spot, if anyone ever goes there, that was the old
Yeah.
Strega Studios, and it was a cool little spot.
Yeah.
It's just a weird little nook.
Yep. Like many places in Chico.
Yeah, it's like commercial. One side, it was like 3 units of commercial building, and one side was a plumber, and the other side was house painters, and then there's me in the middle doing my weird ceramic witchy stuff.
Yeah.
So it worked.
Yep. That's awesome. So, do you have any studio rituals or routines when you sit down to make?
It's more like before I sit down to make.
Mm-hmm.
So lately, I've been pretty good about doing a little bit of yoga anytime I'm going to be throwing on the wheel or doing a lot of physical work, since ceramics is pretty physical. And I'm now 43 and have had 2 children. So I need to do a little stretching before that, and it makes a world of difference. And I've been doing little like 5-minute meditations, which are really nice to help just like clear the energy and get focused. And I often write a little checklist, and I'll go in and I just get busy.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll have sort of like a different levels of checklists. There's like the daily checklist, and it has like, ceramic stuff and a lot of like house stuff and garden stuff. And I'll have like just a flow that goes through, based on what feels right, or what the temperature is inside or outside, or
right.
What the weather's like, or what really needs to be addressed first. And then they'll have like a checklist for the collection. Each collection takes about 6 weeks from start to finish, and so I'll have, I need to make more salt cellars and more this and that, and I want to do some of these, and I kind of rotate my design, so I'll have like a collection checklist over here, and I have a calendar that is always flipped to the wrong month because it's not like the family calendar, and I'm always like, it's not August anymore. I'm like, I never write anything on there, but occasionally. But yeah, little routines. The yoga and the meditation has been really, really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. What's your routine?
Well, I do. So when I have time to sit and make or create, in my studio in particular, it usually means I'm not with my child.
Yeah.
So first things first, I like to do some meditation. I'll do a card pull, light candles, put on my my sound bowl YouTube. It sounds like a little day spa in my studio.
Nice.
So I like to do that, and that helps me to just, also like clear space, clear my head, and then sit down and, I just turn around, and that's where my painting studio is too. So I have my little altar, and then I have my painting studio. So, yeah, and then from there, I sometimes will just leave the woo YouTube on, or or I'll move on to. I love audiobooks, podcasts, and when I'm starting, depending on what I'm working on, when I'm starting a painting, I like to put on some music that kind of fits whatever mood I'm going for, and then I'll put on the audiobook when I get into the detail work.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. There's like the chill mix for like painting and the drawing, but when I'm, there's times I need to just get going, and I'll put on something with a lot more
energy.
Yeah, a lot more energy. Be wedging up clay, throwing, doing, working on 4 different things at once, and I just kind of round robin all of that and really get moving. And also, if I've been throwing on the potter's wheel for a couple of hours, it's really helpful to stand up and literally get my hips moving and dance around. Just wiggle it all out.
Yep. So, what's the best part about being an artist in Chico?
I mean, I think everybody says the community. And then secondly, I would really say the biodiversity for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested in things growing in the riparian zones because there's a ton of biodiversity in riparian zones, and a lot of my favorite plants grow in those areas, like wild roses or California bay laurel, really beautiful things, nettles and mullein, and they're they're not native, but
Yeah.
they are. Cool
Everything will take
plants.
hold here.
Yeah, they're cool.
Whether it's native or not.
Those two are a little more naturalized, so not so bad.
Yeah.
But I would say the biodiversity with the all the riparians, because what struck me about Chico, even as a kid coming to visit here, was all the riparian zones. So obviously Big Chico Creek, and then all the little creeks that come through. And Sacramento River is not far by, and then Butte Creek too, which is really, really an important watershed. And then I live closer to the Sacramento River, and the biodiversity is incredible.
Yeah.
Animals too, but the plants, it just blows me away what all is growing out there, and then to have like the really rich loamy soil that you can grow so many other things on in Zone 9. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
for sure.
obviously inspiring for my work.
Yes.
Really
yes.
integral.
Yeah, which you do incorporate painting and drawing into your work.
I do now. The
Yeah.
last couple of years, I've just been practicing and studying, and I really started doing one botanical at a time. I would get a wild rose. I really like working from life, from the source. So I'd go clip something and draw it and paint it, and then just, if I'm making a round of mugs, I'm making probably 8 at a time. So I'll take that design and then I'll draw and paint it 8 times after I've already done it in my sketchbook, which really helps that repetitive process of learning the plant one by one, and and then of course studying from life, and also I use some botanical books too if I don't have it's not quite in season, or it's not quite, in bloom yet, or I'm looking for all aspects of the plant at once that you can't get, fruit, flower, seed, root, all at once necessarily. But I draw a lot from life, and it's nice to go on a little stroll around the place where I live, my home, and collect different things, see what's in bloom, what's been dropped by a squirrel or a bird, maybe find something new and gather them all up and create essentially what is an eco spell. I've been doing that for a few years, and I just ran into that term the other day. I was reading Starhawk, and she mentioned it. She called out eco spell casting, and I was like, it just hit me. When a term hits you and you're like,
this is the word for the thing that I've been doing.
Yeah, this is the word, that really comfortable nod of that's there. You've called it. This is what I've been doing, and it's just, it has a good energy about it and a good flow. Yeah.
Cool. So I do want to talk about the witches market a little bit before we break.
Yeah. I know, it's really, really exciting because, like I said, it's the one event that I do organize, and it's been each October in Chico. I moved it to the 1078 Gallery parking lot a couple of years ago. This will be the 3rd year there, which obviously 1078 Gallery is awesome. That was mentioned earlier. It's been working with that gallery for almost 20 years, I think. So it'll be there, and there'll be a show up inside. It's going to be the Mock Cat Show inside.
Yes.
So there'll be art inside. And then this year, there's going to be 13 makers in the parking lot. And then, Sherry Harvest and Habitats is out back, and then Equilateral Coffee inside. And it's, the original one with Sammy and Katie, I don't even know. I was like, we're doing the Witches Market. It's going to be called the Witches Market. And it's going to be in October, and it's going to have all the good, like, spooky stuff, or the dark macabre. And I think I was really inspired by those two being like self-identified witches and using like ritual and intention in their work, because obviously like locally made stuff is the best, right? And getting obviously, yes. And then getting to meet who's making your thing, have a conversation or a relationship or a friendship, or even just a simple exchange is there's an inherent quality in it that just feels good, that has a good energy. Besides all of the economic statistics that, dollars stay in the local economy and that kind of thing, but there's a really positive, energetic quality to buying your goods local, or trading, or whatever, or gifting, or however it is, things that are being produced around here. And since, again, we have that great soil, we could produce a lot of great things around here.
That's right, yeah. Well, yeah, and as a maker, I have found that I get so much more out of the embodied experience, of selling my work in person. Like you even if you're not selling the work, like you're getting to see people's reactions, and you're getting to like, it means so much more than the heart button on Instagram,
Oh yeah, like, I get high after a market, just like really like great vibes, and 2021 I wasn't sure. It was like we were doing a masked event, please, and there was no problem, and so many people showed up, and such great vibes, and every year it's been such great vibes. Like people show up wearing their pointy hats and like fully dressed up, and I'm like, I didn't even like suggest that. I'm like, that is so awesome. Like people go to town. There was like a lot of witches and witch lovers in this area, and they just show up, and it's fun. It's
I'll be there.
Fun.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
It's like it's a really great lineup. So lineup group cubby. We call it the cubby. We did the last couple of years, we did photo shoots to go with it, just to kind of extend the art concept. And the first year, we all showed up near the river, and we all had like our market wagons full of props and all of our dresses and everything. And we were like going pretty far down this trail with the photographer to go do all of these cool scenes. And we look back, and I took a little snapshot of everybody, and somebody's like, what's it called when we're all waddling with all of our wagons full of really odd items? What's a group of quail called again? I'm like, it's called a covey. Like, so it's like kind of an ever-changing we call it the covey. Is the group at the Witches Market, which I think it works well.
Yeah.
We have a lot of quail at our house, too. So.
Yes, I love quails. That was my first tattoo.
Oh, really?
It was a quail, yep.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I need to be a quail for Halloween. Like, do the full costume.
That would be adorable.
Yeah, they are adorable.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. We call the babies thumbs. Because they look like thumbs when they're running across the road.
Oh, we had babies too. They nested in my garden, right in the middle.
Aww.
There was a quail nest, and they hatched out and everything. Yeah, it was special.
I love baby quails. Do we have any questions for Sienna? Yes.
Materials have gone up an extraordinary amount in the last few years, which has made me question my career choices many times, right? Clay is up to almost $20 a bag right now, which is I'm like, oh wow, this is a lot. But having a business, I can buy things in bulk, and I can get some things, discounts on certain things, and I mix a lot of I'd use a lot of slips and underglazes, but I use them selectively, and I buy some glazes and I mix some, so kind of able to have some affordability there by mixing some of my own. And then, of course, there's energy costs. We were able to put in solar at our house a couple years ago, and so now my kilns are solar powered, which is really awesome. But yeah, I'm using electric kilns. Gas kilns, you're going to be paying for gas. It's a lot, and especially at a startup rate, like a beginner potter, I can see how it's extremely cost prohibitive. I mean, I have 20 plus years of equipment. Like my main wheel, potter's wheel that I use, I bought when I was at Butte College. And then here's the thing though, if you get into it and you have a space, people will start giving you things.
Yes.
Like kilns and potter's wheels, and people are no longer doing it. They retire, or they're just like, I had one lovely friend who was like, I've got too many irons in the fire, same as me, like so many crafts, and so she gave me like half of her studio. So that does come around if when you're at like a committed area and you have space, enough space for it. And from there you can upgrade. You can get a little kiln, and then you find another one that's better. Or I was able to save up and get a digital kiln at one point. So just incrementally, I've been able to expand my studio that way.
Do we have another question over there?
It was similar. I was just asking how you're handling the recent increase in material costs, not really from a startup. Is this just because it's gone up so much
Yeah.
every year?
Yeah.
So I don't know how you're handling that.
It's
Yeah,
been a
potter
little
to potter.
difficult.
Are you changing your pricing?
I actually have not changed my pricing much. I really don't want to. I want my work to be really accessible. So in some ways I've kind of eaten the cost, and if I were to somehow factor a true hourly wage, I would say that over the last couple of years my hourly wage has probably gone down a bit. But I'm sort of evening that out. I have a few other offerings that I sell, and I do some wholesale, which I have raised the price on the wholesale pricing a little bit. I have about 3 good accounts that put in orders every couple of months, and that helps. No, I have Oakland, one in Ohio, one in I believe it's Kansas. Yeah.
How do you reach farther away markets like in Kansas or Ohio?
So I'm on social media, Instagram. When I do, that's not quite as pertinent, but when I do markets, I always have an email list for my newsletter. But for farther away markets, I would say it's social media, or when I decided that I am going to wholesale this item, I started reaching out to, I'm like, well, they sell fermentation supplies. I'll do a little intro letter, and that's how I got a couple of accounts. And I don't want too many because it's just me, and I can't handle too many accounts. And then I had another person contact me through Instagram, which has been a lovely account. Nebraska, they're in Omaha.
Anyone else? All right. Well, where can people find you online?
Sienna Ceramics, Sienna with 2 N's. So siennaceramics.com, same for Instagram. If you go to my website, you can sign up for the newsletter there. I send out about 2 a month, so not that much, but that's really the best, because social media is obviously a bit unreliable and
Unruly.
yeah,
Distracting.
if you like people's work and you want to keep track of them, sign up for their newsletter. It really helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you
Okay.
so much.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You only call me when you're lonely.
would like to thank our monthly supporters, Melissa Thede, Heather Leveroni, Dave and LaShawn Montoya, Christian Davila, Kaylee Huber, Troy German, Kate Thurkill, Bonnie Pipkin, Lindsay Hook, and Bree Epley. If you'd like to be added to the list of folks who are keeping this show going, follow the link in the show notes.
You only call me